Good morning. It is Wednesday, March the 26th of 2025. Currently, a lot of sunshine again this morning. As I look out, again, lots of blue skies. The sun is shining, but still a lot of snow out there. Temperature of 21 degrees. I am Chad Holmes. It is the Hump Day Wednesday edition of the Chad Holmes Show. 98.9 WXCO. Online at WXCO.FM. Mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO. And on the Civic Media app. Coming up in just a few minutes. When is it going to warm up? When is the snow going to melt away? When will those spring high school sports get underway? Because it's all about me, okay? No, but we're getting towards the end of March, heading towards April, but we still have that snow out there. We'll talk to Brittney Merlot coming up in about 14 minutes or so at 8:21. In the second hour of the program, we will be joined by Sean Wright, the executive director of the Grand Theater in Wausau. I mean, it's so fast. It feels like they just started their season and they've just been going through it and getting great crowds and really packing them in all year long. And now we're getting towards spring and the end of their season. And then they'll be starting a new season, the circle of life that we talk about. But we'll find out what's happening at the Grand with Sean Wright coming up early on in hour number 2. And then we'll wrap things up in the second hour talking to Ian Welsh as part of our daily history lesson. And we always wrap it up with the number for the day quiz. And Ian's got some work to do today. 0 for 2 so far this week. So,
slump.
I know it's, we have to send him to the minors here pretty soon if he doesn't start picking it up.
How does Nashville sound this time of year? Not bad.
Not bad. Is that exactly right?
Got to make a comeback.
But how are you doing today, Ian?
Doing pretty good. I'm ready to focus up and get the number right today.
Absolutely. So we'll look forward to that. And of course, you hear the voice that joins us every other Wednesday for the first hour of the show. Very happy to welcome back Bob Look.
Well, good morning, everybody. And again, hey, all that Ian has to do is get one right today, and he's batting .333 for the season.
We aren't asking a lot.
I'm getting a lot of baseball references here. You can tell I'm getting geared up for tomorrow.
Do you remember? I know you remember. This time of year when Wausau had the Class A team, the Mets and the Timbers, and this time of year was always hold your breath time because, boy, you lose those dates and it makes it very hard to be successful. And boy, that was hard in those eras, in the 70s and the 80s.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to convince the stations that I was working for at the time to do some selected Wausau Timber games. The second to last year and their last year. Not all of them, right. But just, work a little deal out with the Timber folks. And they, of course, Timbers thought, well, this is great. Saw somebody coming out here. But we did, select home games. Basically, I looked at the Brewers schedule, and I always tried to schedule the games where the Brewers were off, right? So there wouldn't be a, conflict, or the start of a long homestand when they have a lot of promotions to promote. Like coming up Saturday, it's kite night here at the ballpark. It was basically it was an infomercial as a baseball game. And I was actually the only live broadcaster to broadcast the last game of the Timbers, when they shut down the lights and, finished, and the team moved to Kane County,
that's right,
Illinois. So, that's some fond memories with that.
But it was hard this time of year. More often than not, there was still snow on the ground on opening night.
The first year we were doing the games because they were the Seattle Mariners team, Class A affiliate, and we were playing series where we had a game scheduled, and they had snow in the foul territory. They cleaned it off with a regular, but the umpires were say, well, ball gets hit into that's an automatic, double or two base, and they had ground rules for hitting a ball into a pile of snow. Where else do you hear that?
I've seen that actually in the high school ranks, because nowadays down in the southern part of the state near the Dells and near, they have this complex with all baseball diamonds and softball diamonds with all artificial turf.
Oh, okay.
So basically, if there could still be snow out there, but they just get out get the vehicle out
brush,
there, move it off onto the side. You'll see a little bit of snow still on the side, but if they're able to get these games in, because this time of year, these schools, they will have to pay to go down there and play, and that complex makes a lot of money. I tell you that much.
That just reminds me of just this past weekend, I was texting back and forth with a friend of mine in the business, Mario Mpemba, who was doing, I hired him as a sports director down in Peoria, Illinois, and he was doing the Peoria Rivermen hockey, but also Peoria Chiefs baseball, because he really loved baseball. This is what he wanted to do. And the first series they had was up in Appleton back in 1987, I believe, 88, I think was the start of the season. And they were snowed out, cold out, and everything. And they're frantically trying to get these games. So they make a doubleheader in the middle of a weekday. So here's poor old Mario Mpemba doing the radio broadcast, and he breaks for commercial after the opening, and we're chit-chatting back and forth. He goes, Bob, there's nobody here except the players and me. And I just went, Mario, the listeners don't know that. I says, you just do, and he did a heck of a job. And he ended up being in the majors and the California Angel games, and then to Detroit, his hometown, and he did for over 20 years, the television stuff. So, the listeners don't care.
No, especially radio.
Yeah.
You are the eyes.
You do it. And of course, the players were making enough noise on the field because they kind of realized, boy, if we don't make noise, there's no noise at all. So the players, kind of like, well, we're more, more rah-rah than the normal.
It reminds me again. We'll get to serious stuff here in a moment. But there's an old episode of MASH that had the storyline was that they would replay Major League Baseball games on the Armed Forces Radio Network.
All right.
And Frank Burns found out what the results were before they aired. So he started making these bets and started making the money. And then Hawkeye found out about this, and then he made up his own recreation of the game.
Okay. I remember that.
That looked like fun to me. To make a recreation, get the information, basically, because you heard the stories of like Ronald Reagan back in the day when he first started as a baseball announcer. You just get on the wire what happened.
Sure.
And then you would put everything around it.
Yeah, you talk about, oh, what a beautiful day, beautiful blue sky here today. The sun is shining bright, really comfortable to ball. It's ball one, the count to Joe Smith. I'll tell you what, we're looking forward to this weekend when and he just learned to have some kind of a cadence to keep the interest going.
And you could do the rhythm any way you wanted it.
Right.
Steps out and you can say something.
Yeah.
That seemed like it would be a fun thing to do.
Bob Uecker used to do a little bit about a baseball announcer. And he was talking about a guy who was a Chicago announcer from years ago that he always liked, because he would just talk about, ball one is the count, and I got this little message here that the Russians have sent missiles, so that's a strike, a call, and he's interjecting major headlines in the middle of the play-by-play of a game, and just matter-of-factly, and it was a funny routine. I think you can see that on YouTube if you look it up in Bob Uecker's. My gosh, how much stuff is on there right now?
Just dig, and you'll find yourself in a rabbit hole.
Yeah, for about 2 hours laughing your tail off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, are you an early voter, or do you vote on election day?
I did vote last week.
I always feel bad because I like voting on election day. I just, and I understand the idea because something could come up. I mean, there's always something that could come up.
That's the reason why I did that, because when I was doing, this workload like you're doing, or running all over the place.
Yeah, the station you go off.
Oh my gosh, I got to do this. I got to do this, and the next thing you know, the whole day is blown by, and you've not, put in your ballot. So when this came out, I just says this just makes sense to me. You vote absentee, but they're at either the village hall or city hall or whatever, and gets it done, and then it's like you can basically sit back and watch the show.
What's your sense right now? I have to admit that I kind of. And again, I understand it's easy from the outside to say, be above the fray. But Crawford's running as many garbage commercials as Schimmel is, to be honest with you. I mean, because, again, they're both saying, you're not going to keep us safe, when that is, again, nothing to do with the Supreme Court race. And obviously, it's been proven it works over the years.
That's the key.
And that's the sad aspect, actually.
It is a sad situation. In fact, to be honest with you, and my television viewing basically is not on local channels. Most I would say 90 to 95% of the things are off on the direct TVs, many other channels, the local. And people say, well, geez, how come how do you stay up on the local events? I says, I watch enough of it, and I also read enough of it that with the other type of sources that are available, that you can get to right here, Wausau Pilot to, online, and you can, check that out. And that's the way I keep myself informed. But, so I know there's a lot of those commercials going, and I see them when I was watching the basketball, and it would be on, on Channel 7 here. And of course they have the local breaks, and here they have these ads, and I just kind of wrinkle my nose and I go, well, that's just the nature of the beast right now.
I spend most of my time watching YouTube. I really don't watch a lot of TV anymore, but boy, they pound YouTube with those commercials too.
Yeah, they before you can even watch what you want to watch, they throw on a commercial.
Exactly. Sometimes you're lucky, you'll say after 5 seconds skip. Other times you're not so lucky.
Yeah.
You'll have to go 60 seconds before you skip.
It depends how much they paid for that, I guess. Yeah,
exactly.
You know what's the most used button on your phone is skip.
Skip is right.
Just make it go away.
Fact, I got a text from Elon. I get $100. I got that yesterday. I got
you're gonna get $100.
I tell you, this guy is the biggest.
Oh, great!
He's such a nice guy.
Yeah.
We're gonna take a quick time out. Come back, talk to Brittney about the weather, and then more with Bob Look here in hour number 1 on 98.9 WXCO.
Good morning, Brittney.
Good morning. How are you?
Pretty good. It's a beautiful morning.
It is. Snowman's melting.
At least it lasted for
a day, at least.
Almost a day.
Right,
yeah.
2 days. A day or two.
Well, hopefully with the rain we're supposed to get this weekend, at least it's not going to switch over to snow.
It might. Hopefully. We could have a repeat.
Oh, yeah.
It might be worse.
Well, it'll definitely be an interesting weekend.
Cancel all plans.
Yeah. March is definitely the transition month when it comes to the change of seasons.
It's wild.
Indeed. As long as I don't have to shovel the driveway again.
You need a flamethrower.
I do it the easy way.
Yep.
Step right up and don't be shy, because you will not believe your eyes. She's right here behind the glass. You're gonna like her, because she's got class.
And welcome back. Chad Holmes with you here on 98.9 WXCO, online at WXCO.FM, mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO, and on the Civic Media app. You can also catch us on YouTube, youtube.com. Go to the 98.9 WXCO channel on YouTube. And you can also share your thoughts. If there's something we are talking about, if there's something we're not talking about, we would love to hear from you. You can call us or text us at 715-382-9297. That's 715-382-9297 to be part of the program. And again, you can also use your Civic Media app and be able to reach us that way as well. But as we look outside, again, another pretty start here in north central Wisconsin. Temperature of 21 degrees. Oh, by the way, we did get a text here. And it's one of Brittney's biggest fans, Rob from Tigerton.
Oh, yeah.
And talking about something that Brittney was talking about in the last hour about the cuts at the National Weather Service. One of the things that are being cut. Rob sent us a text. I'm strong against those cuts at the National Weather Service. They should in the same area as emergency services, with the military weather does play in the role any military I think I'm trying to Rob, I think you forgot a comma here. But I think I get what you're saying, right, because of what Brittney was talking about earlier. Says weather does play a role in any military conflict. It's funny about Granny in the weather, but we need the night standards of emergency services. And exactly right. And Brittney Merlot with us again. Obviously, Brittney, you work for Civic Media as one of our weather folks, our meteorologists. How much does the National Weather Service actually impact your work here at Civic?
Oh, quite a bit, honestly. The National Weather Service, I mean, they're the ones who put out the tornado warnings, severe thunderstorm warnings. That's coming from the National Weather Service office. And they're also providing a lot of data too. They're weather balloons that they send up at what used to be 2 times a day, once in the morning and once in the evening. That data, so basically the balloon goes up in the atmosphere, way up high above the clouds. It expands. It's pretty cool. It actually expands to about as big as a truck. Massive. And it explodes up there and it comes back down, and it's got a little parachute with a box on it. And then we go find that data, and it basically produces a fancy map for us meteorologists to dissect and use to forecast. So it's gathering data for everyone to do what they want with it. I mean, airports use it, emergency services, like Rob said, uses it, forecasters like myself use this data, and especially, and it's really, really important information for forecasting severe storms and tornadoes. I mean, it is the only thing that's going up there showing us exactly how our atmosphere is rotating, if we have enough energy and instability up high, and if we're going to be able to tap into that and then it get explosive storms. This is very, very important for not only us forecasting, but for the public. I mean, this is valuable information. So what the National Weather Service, the cuts that have happened here affecting us, are at the Green Bay station. They have eliminated the morning launch of the balloon. This is very, very important because that's the information that I am using to tell you when storms are going to explode around 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. That's when they usually happen. So now we're going to be using old data from the day before, which what is that going to do for me? And then the balloon's going to go up at 7 p.m. every day, 7 p.m. That's not enough. They cut the 7 a.m.
It's lives are at stake. I mean, we've heard so many stories over the years where giving that warning to get somebody out of the line of a severe thunderstorm or a tornado has actually saved lives. And this is something I hope that folks push back against, and also maybe some of the folks who actually make some of these decisions can take a step back at some point and say, hey, I understand the idea of trying to save a little money somewhere, but is it really worth X number of lives? Because frankly, as we go into this severe weather season very, very soon, there's going to be lives at stake.
Yes, there are. And it's just giving me the chills right now throughout my entire body. I mean, I got into this industry because a tornado came through my hometown. It was no warning, no heads up. And so this is like what's going to be happening. You know what I mean? It's just going to be, we've come so far in forecasting, giving you a 13-minute lead time of a tornado headed your way. And now I feel like that's going to go backwards. I mean, the staff cuts, we're going to be using other National Weather Service offices to help during outbreaks. I mean, they're not even used to the area. It's just going to be a world of mess, and I am worried for severe weather season ahead.
Well, let's talk about what the weather is like right now, because it's very calm start again. A lot of sunshine, but that snow is still out there.
Yes.
We're still chilly, but it sounds like it's not going to stay sunny. In fact, it's going to get a little dreary as we get towards the weekend, isn't it?
It's going to get messy, so soak up the sunshine now. High temperatures today, we will climb to the upper 40s. It's going to be bright and beautiful, fantastic. Clouds will increase tonight. We do have a chance of some light drizzle, possibly overnight. But then tomorrow, sunny again, beautiful, highs in the low 50s, because at this point, the snow's probably going to be gone. Be careful of your basements, too. I know that a lot of that water is puddling up and funneling into some places it shouldn't be. And then, so after a beautiful day tomorrow, everything changes. I mean, we're looking at rain rolling in at night, could flip to freezing rain Thursday night into Friday morning. We've got thunderstorms in the forecast for Friday, rain as well. High temperatures Friday will hit the low 50s, but then we fall back below freezing at night. So some more freezing rain is possible Friday night into our Saturday morning. Then the rain ramps up on Saturday, wants to flip to more freezing rain and then snow on Sunday. And at the moment, the recent data really wants to put another snowstorm right here. But
Oh,
we'll see. That could be all rain, or it could be some heavy, wet accumulating snow. It's a little too far for me to exactly tell you what's going to happen, but keep an eye out. Sunday could be terrible.
I heard Rob on Pat's show yesterday mention that we've got more snow in the month of March than we did for the entire winter up to this point.
Yeah,
We're going to get
yeah.
more.
Yeah, this
man.
month has been madness. March Madness,
There
true
you
to its
go.
name.
Well, that was very smooth. I got to tell you.
March
That was
Madness.
very smooth.
Did
Thank
Brittney.
you
you.
slip that in there? What a
Dust my
pro,
shoulder off.
bro.
Hey, Brittany, thanks for the info. Have a great Wednesday. We'll catch you again tomorrow.
Bye,
You
Brittany.
too. Bye, guys.
That's our Brittney Merlot meteorologist right now in downtown Wausau at the corner of Washington Street and North 3rd Street at our WXCO studios. Fair skies, 21 degrees. East winds at just 3 miles per hour. The dew point is 16. Relative humidity of 81%. Barometer at 30.18 inches and a visibility of 10 miles. Time for an information update. Has Donald signed any executive orders in the last 30 minutes? We're going to find out. Plus all the news.
He
weather,
doesn't get up
sports.
until noon anyway,
You're
so
right.
don't worry about it.
We'll come back with more with Bob Look coming up next. Chad Holmes Show, 98.9 WXCO.
Something wrong.
And welcome back, Chad Holmes Show, 98.9 WXCO, online at WXCO.FM, mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO, and on the Civic Media app. And again, at YouTube.com and the 98.9 WXCO channel on YouTube. And again, don't forget, we'd love to hear from you. 715-382-9297. That's 715-382-9297 to join us as we are with Bob Look here for hour number one. Obviously 6 days away, and you said it, you voted already.
Mhm.
It's going to be very interesting. I'm actually very curious to see if we have some sort of either record numbers or good numbers when it comes to voter turnout, because this election gets very, very, very poor turnout each and every time.
Oh yeah, the spring primaries and that it's kind of the especially for the local because you have school boards and village trustees,
Yeah.
city council members, and things of that nature, which are more closely directed or involving us here in our own backyard. And it's the election that seems to be the one that, well, I'll show up to vote. You know, it doesn't have the big fanfare of the federal presidential or maybe U.S. Senate or governor type of race.
Well, there's actually one that is very interesting to me because I live in the village of Weston, and
Yeah.
I drive past Patriot Auto every day to get home. And they, for years and years and years, have been basically poking the bear, me being the bear, with messages on the sign. And now the owner of Patriot Auto is running for the office against the incumbent Mark Maloney.
Yeah, the village president there in Western.
Yep,
right?
and that's
Yeah.
it's a very significant race. It's a very significant position in a area of our area that is growing at a very high level. And one of the big issues, and I was talking to you this off the air, is that the candidate James Pinsino, the owner of Patriot Auto, has a message right there on the big sign talking about, oh, you vote for me, nobody's going to make you buy a $15 million Village of Weston building again. And it just seems like it's so easy to, in this day of politics, and maybe you obviously run for office and you talk to folks, it seems easier to be a negative and get people to shaking their head than building something and saying that, hey, we need this. And also, in the end, we're going to save money. And because I said to you, I think the Village of Weston is growing and growing and growing. They need a building like that.
Well, they need to have so that you can provide the services that the people of your village or city expect from you. You know, how many times if you know the garbage didn't get picked up that week and everyone's like, oh, up in arms, you know, or I haven't seen a street sweeper, you know, for at least 2 days, you know, clean up all the junk out of the, you know, it's like, okay. I mean, there's reasons why, you know, you got to develop a budget and you have to observe the budget. And if you're over the budget, things get left out. And that's why those kind of things happen. You know, you can either move forward or you can stand still and let the whole world pass you by. And that's, you know, that's maybe kind of like, you know, a simple way of describing it. But, you know, I just feel that, you know, people, when you get to a certain age, they feel that, well, I got mine, the heck with the rest of the people.
and I've been looking, and obviously as a voter there, I've been looking at the positions of these candidates, and I've been especially looking at Mr. Pinsino. And when asked about what the biggest challenge facing the village right now is, and he said spending. And that is such a right-wing answer. It's always spending. And no matter what, we can never, ever, 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 ever think about altering taxes in a way that actually asks somebody to pay a little bit more.
Yeah, well, how about, you know, how about you trying to make your people in your village or city, you know, happy, making them, you know, feel confident that you're doing things that, you know, are needed within the community. You're not gonna hit everyone's sweet spot where they all go, well, that's exactly what I'm looking for. I always enjoy people when they point to the education situations in the various communities and school board situation. Oh, they get all up in arms if, this costs money or that costs money. And especially the ones who are raising their ire are the ones who don't have kids in the district. And okay, but you may have had, or, in my case, I never had, I never had kids of my own. And it's like, but I know how important it is that your education system be up to date, be on, right at the top of what is, important, and how to prepare your youngsters for their lives as adults. And it's not going to happen by accident. There's some things you can learn without going into a school and having a teacher teach you. But the problem is, you're going to miss out on a whole lot of really important things that's going to make it very important for you in your later life. That, oh yeah, when I was sitting there in high school, I'm saying, what the heck do I need to know this? Or, why is this important to me? And all of a sudden, down the road, oh yeah, I remember learning that back in grade school, high school, whatever. Education is what people need to move forward. Otherwise, if you stand pat, the world passes you by, and then you're even more ticked off.
Well, and the thing about it is, when you see what's been done within the world of education by those on the right over the last number of decades, we cannot sustain this system without an educated electorate. That's the bottom line.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. We see right now so many folks, and I was talking to you again off the air about a segment I heard on Pat's show where he's talking to a couple of school board members in a rural part of the state and about the issues they're having. And yet, so many of the people in these rural parts of the state vote in that way. They don't look at what's being delivered to their communities. It's just so easy right now to say, I'm going to vote for the guy that says no, or vote for the guy that stands next to me in terms of social values. I mean,
I'm not talking about education for you, for everyone to go on to college.
No.
If you have the opportunity and you have, first of all, the input and the grades to verify that, and there's also the way you can learn a trade. You don't have to go to college. The education comes in different forms and models. The point being is that you never stop learning. You've heard that line, you never stop learning. And I'm sitting at age 70, and doggone it, I'm learning things all the time that, just a couple of years ago, I go, I don't know. No, but you look into it, you learn how to learn, and that's a habit to get into, being inquisitive, questioning things, learning. Otherwise, if you stand still, everyone passes you up.
do you think that a lot of people are saying that the state Supreme Court race is a proxy election, maybe a vote of confidence for Donald Trump and Elon Musk based on what they've done? Do you think that's the case, or do you think people in Wisconsin are going to be able to look past that and realize, hey, there's a lot of different issues here in this state that have nothing to do with Trump and Musk, except the reason that Musk here is spending a lot of money towards one of the candidates?
Well, you're talking about the South African Nazi, right? Yeah. Or as the nickname, or the nickname that I found one really amusing was Sissy SpaceX.
I heard that one, yes.
I goes, hey, that's pretty funny. Frankly, as far as that is a whole new animal, that's something that's in the back burner. But I'm telling you right now, what is needed more than anything else is people who are fair. Fair does not seem to enter into it anymore. It's either that's my way or no way type of a way of filtering. And I promised you a story about the candidate Brad Schimmel. And this goes back a few years then, way back when he was the Attorney General of the state of Wisconsin. And he was here in town, at it was the Wausau Police Department's annual awards night. Okay, so he was here. And this was not too far from the incident where I lost my wife back in 2017. And for some of you folks who don't know the situation, look it up. I'm not going to explain it to you, but here's the deal. One of the officers or, introduces me to the, Attorney General, Brad Schimmel. And, Schimmel, shakes my hands. I'm, so really sorry, that it happened. And, usual. I accepted it. I said, well, thank you for your thoughts. I says, this might be a good idea to maybe take a closer look or a fresh look at something I think that we've just throwing it into the trash heap, saying it'll never work. And that is the red flag laws, where people who have been involved with either, like spousal abuse, that how they are not allowed to have firearms. Nada. I says, now don't you think this would be a perfect, example of where this might have been a way that could have either slowed down or maybe made this go away? And he basically looked at me and said, well, we can't take away the right to bear arms. This is what he says to me, the right to bear arms. And I looked at him and I says, well, how about the right about the life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness? Are you saying that owning a firearm is more important than being able to live your life with life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness? And with that, he just, well, nice meeting you. The about face, and off he went. Did not even want to discuss it. I says, all I was looking for is discussion. Right. At least let's discuss the pros and cons of this, because I have a situation here that I think this could have applied to.
And something that I remember you talking about when you were running for the state Senate. And I think for anybody that is either running for office or a person that's been elected to office, part of the job is to sometimes have those difficult conversations, isn't it?
There are times there are things that is uncomfortable that I something I'm not really familiar with, where I don't have a dog in this race, but these are things that are concerning people.
Yes.
And if you're a representative of the people, you should listen and also learn. I learned so much running for state senator that, I would have never known, especially with the rural parts of the district, the farmers and agricultural interests, and their things that they are day in and day out that were very important to them, keeping their business alive, keeping it, that it was what we hope it does. And that's provide food and that for the people. And, they brought things to me that it's like I didn't know anything about, because that wasn't part of my background. And I thanked them. I says, this is why I need to talk to you people. I want you to know that this is going to be an open door. I'm not going to hide someplace. I says, I want to be here on a regular basis. And if I get elected, I want to have at least once every month or once every 2 months, something in your backyard. I want to see you and meet you, and what's on your mind now. What are you having problems with within the span of, that I could maybe help you with. That's what I vision what the job entailed.
And that's what, again, the system is based on. I mean, it's about, and I bet you, again, for most of us, if we get into the echo chamber, we're not going to learn anything new. We'll just be able to nod our heads a lot. Sometimes you may get something you disagree with that actually further supports what you believe in, because you have to think about it and discuss it a little bit more. And other times you're going to say, hey, I'm thinking about this in a completely different way, and let me take a few steps back.
I want to hear their side of the story, because I'm sure we can figure out a way to both work together to come up with a solution.
And that's the thing when you talk about like budget here in Wisconsin, there's all this, this surplus. You can get together, and I may not be totally happy. You may not be totally happy, but doggone it, there's deals to be made to make people's lives a little bit better.
That's what you should be there for.
Exactly.
That's my opinion.
Yep. Hey, we're going to keep fighting for that. There you go. 8:49 is the time. We're going to come back. Opening day is tomorrow. We'll talk about that coming up.
a miracle. Oh, it was beautiful, magical. And all the birds in the trees, yeah, they be singing so happily. Oh, joyfully, oh, playfully, watching me.
Chad Home Show, 98.9 WXCO. Online at WXCO.FM. Mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO and on the Civic Media app. And I saw that we had a call. Ian, did somebody want to come on the air, or did they just want to talk to you? A little while ago, like 9 minutes ago.
Actually, I didn't hear a phone call.
Oh,
It said on the record that somebody had called, but I guess
Oh.
maybe they hung up right away. But yeah, but if you're out there, we'd love to hear from you. 715-382-9297.
because otherwise I might start singing, "Take me out to the ball game.
Yankee
Take me
Stadium,
out to the crowd."
the big house in the Bronx, the house that Ruth built, the original. By the way, real fast before we talk about this season, I miss when the Brewers in the AL East.
That was some great baseball because the American League East back then. I mean, the Baltimore Orioles were, Cal Ripken and all the gang, and of course the Yankees were loaded with Reggie Jackson. Dave Winfield was floating around with them.
Red Sox,
and the Red Sox, of course. I mean, man,
And the Brewers won 93 and 95 games.
Yeah.
In 78 and 79 and didn't sniff the
Didn't
playoffs.
even come close. It's in fact, my Brew Crew review, I kind of did the little run through looking to the start of this season. And last year, I predicted they'd be in the 90s.
And you were ahead of the curve. I'll tell you that much.
Way ahead of the curve. Everybody was, and I'm still ahead of the curve. What people, for the most part, have said. I'm saying 89 wins.
Wow. Why do you think they're going to be that good?
The basis of the team right now, I think they're a lot more offensively better this year coming up. Again, this is if everyone is healthy.
Right.
We don't have any major, injury situations. The pitching coach is still there, who seems to make, average pitchers a little better, maximize it. And I just have a good feeling because they got some youngsters who played pretty good ball last year, for Sal Frelick and Bryce Terang and Joey now moving from third to shortstop. The one thing that I'm still, don't be surprised if there is going to be some veteran third base player going to end up with the Brewer uniform before May gets here.
Really? Oh, keep an eye on that. But
because Oliver Nunn,
you think Jackson Churrio's going to continue to take that?
I think Jackson
keep
Churrios.
Going up on that because he was so good last year.
Well, again, it was just the half. The first half was kind of,
but by the time he was in that second half, he started
getting it. He started learning.
And I tell you, you got to give Arnold and the front office credit for locking him up because there's a risk involved. I mean, as good as anybody thinks they are, there's still that risk involved. And boy, they and it was a win-win because obviously he got some security. The Brewers get a little security for a long time, but boy, he was such a good. I mean, as a rookie, because sometimes, again, you said early in the year there were, some hiccups, but boy, he was fun to watch.
I have a friend I was chatting with yesterday, and they says, well, Christian Yelich, of course, was once an MVP, and then I said, could be again.
Yeah, I mean,
they looked that I got from the people who were like, what are you, nuts? And I says, I'm just looking at watching his at bats. And when he came back from the knee problem, the shattered kneecap, he was pulling off the ball and trying to pull the ball so he wouldn't hit on top of it to bounce another one off the knee. It took a while for him to because once you have something like that, you flinch. It's human nature if you've had a major thing at one specific area.
Right.
But now I'm watching his swing and the speed of his swing at the at-bats I've been watching and looking how smooth he's and I'm like, this looks really good. This looks like when he first was with the team, back when they, got, Lorenzo and everything. That I'm seriously thinking that if he stays healthy, oh, please stay healthy.
What about the division? What do you see? Because I got a big
They've
Cardinal
improved.
can coming in a few minutes. I got to.
Oh, yeah.
Because Sean's a big Cardinal fan, so I
Yeah,
always talk to him about that.
Well, Cardinals, well, they're having a whole kind of change in way do things.
I don't
there,
know
so
if they.
I don't-
I don't think they know exactly what they
No.
want to do this year.
I think that they're going to kind of hover a bit. But I'm telling you right now, Cincinnati, the best thing it did was the addition to their manager.
Yeah.
Because Terry Francona, I think, is going to get a lot of good stuff out of it. And plus, the shortstop who has all-world ability,
Ellie De La Cruz.
Ellie De La Cruz, he's a wonderful player. However, along with the wonderful, you have the what the heck you doing?
But
type
isn't
thing.
Francona a perfect guy to come in there?
Correct, because he'll go, hey, Ellie, come here.
Going to make you a big leaguer this
Yeah,
year.
and he will definitely help them. But also the Cubs, they got some name players and that, and I understand that how they're going to manufacture it as far as the pitching staff and the relief corps, which has always been their biggest Achilles heel. That's the one. Pittsburgh, again, young pitchers, but young players. And
there's such a negativity around their owner.
Yeah.
I mean, they just don't like him there. He's a billionaire, doesn't really add a lot to what they do.
And I think that there's a lot of burning in the Brewers players that Bob Uecker's not there.
Yeah.
And I think there's going to be a let's win this one for you.
So they're going to win the division.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to win tomorrow.
It's one game.
But do you want to get out to a good
Well,
start?
yeah. As far as, with Freddie.
You're going to watch Joe Buck and Bill Schroeder together on ESPN?
Yeah. Well, why not? But Freddie Peralta, he's got to get through 5 innings, and he also has to get through the first inning.
Thanks, Bob.
Take care.
We'll come back with Sean Wright in the next hour.
All I need is a TV show, that and the radio. Down on my luck again, down on my luck again. I can show you some of the people in my life. I can show you some of the people in my life. It's driving me mad. Just another way of passing the
Good morning. It is Wednesday. We reached the hump day, middle of the work week, March the 26th of 2025. We are 6 days away from Election Day. We've been talking about it for a couple of months, Election Day, landing on April Fool's Day. And I think we're going to be able to say whether or not we are the fools or not coming up next Tuesday when the votes are counted. But glad you could be with us. Wednesday edition of the Chad Holmes Show, 98.9 WXCO, online at WXCO.FM, mobile devices, and Alexa by searching WXCO, and on the Civic Media app. Coming up, we will be talking to Sean Wright, the executive director of the Grand Theater in Wausau. Plenty of great shows coming to the Grand, and we'll talk to Sean all about that. We'll get a report on his spring training trip as well. And we'll find out what his number is for the Cardinals, because he's the big St. Louis Cardinal fan. I saw in a story the other day that their Vegas over-under line is 76.5. So we'll see. I'll see if Sean thinks that they'll have more than that in terms of wins or less than that. And then, of course, we will talk about what's going on at the Grand as well. And then coming up a little bit later on as well, we will be in our final segment, our daily history lesson. We didn't really have a history lesson yesterday because we were having such a good time talking to Gene Abreu and Carol Lukens from the Wausau Sustainability, Energy, and Environment Committee. In fact, yesterday morning, I was running a little bit late. And on Tuesdays, I go on with Up North News and Pat Kreitlow for the final segment.
Yes,
But I was running late, so I parked right here in front. I have a parking pass for the parking ramp about a block down. But if you park out here, you have to then move the car. And then we got done with our discussion with the ladies yesterday. And then we just kept talking after the show. It was almost an hour. And then all of a sudden I look outside and the City of Wausau Parking Patrol is there. And I go out and I got a ticket. But it's worth the $10 to have great conversation.
That's true.
But got a ticket. So I'm going to be adding to the till here in the City of Wausau. Beautiful start here. Blue skies. Temperature has actually gone up 8 degrees in the past hour.
Nice.
We are up to 29 degrees. So hopefully things will warm up nicely. Get that sun start to melt. Even yesterday was chilly out, but the sun, you saw a lot of the snow starting to melt. And today we're expecting to get up into the upper 40s. So I think a lot more snow will go away and get closer and closer to actually getting out there. And I know your dad and other golfers are looking forward to getting the snow away so we can start to do some golf, get these golf courses open.
Yep. He's getting ready.
The voice you hear, give me a second here, Ian.
It's okay. The voice you hear is your friendly engineer slash.
You know it
producer
all.
Ian
You can handle the baton when I fall down. You know, it's like, but that is Ian. And Ian, coming up at the end of the show, we will have after our daily history lesson, we'll have our number for the day quiz. You are 0 for 2 so far this week. And I'm going to look here and see if I can find a good number here.
I got to get back on the winning track. Absolutely.
Well, the number for the day that is given to me, and I got this some information that gets sent every day with some good stuff to kind of try to keep things entertaining.
Yeah.
But today, the number for the day involves cigarette smoking. Is that something you would be interested in having a number for the day? Or should I
Hmm.
look and try to see something else here?
We can look and see if you can find a different topic. Well, if you can't find anything else, we can go with that topic.
Okay, I'll keep a lookout here, and we'll see, and I'll give you an option. I'll say you can take the cigarette smoking number, or we can try to find another one here. And
Okay.
and I will promise you tomorrow, since it's opening day for the Brewers,
Mhm.
that tomorrow's number for the day will involve the Milwaukee Brewers. I don't know what it is yet,
Okay.
but we will, because being opening day, that's one of the unofficial starts of spring.
Mhm.
We'll make sure that the number for the day tomorrow involves the Brewers when they open up against the Yankees tomorrow afternoon. If you're somebody that's looking for big numbers, the Powerball is up to $484 million for tonight's drawing.
Ooh.
So if you're somebody that waits until it gets really high before you start thinking about buying those lottery tickets, we're starting to get up there when it comes to Powerball. By the way, I gotta share a little with you.
Okay.
Yesterday, I feel like a little bit like a pincushion today, because you
What's
remember
that?
like a month ago, or a little bit more than a month ago, I was a little under the weather. My
Yeah.
voice went away, and I went into the walk-in,
It was
and
tough.
yeah, and at the time when I saw a doctor there, and I've had this little growth on the back of my neck. It's been there for a long time, and the
Oh.
doctor said, well, you should probably have that looked at, which is always a wonderful thing to hear. But
Yeah.
generally, it's like, and I said basically should just have a general checkup. We all should have checkups, especially when you get as old as I am, and I have not had a checkup in a very long time. So yesterday, I had my checkup.
Okay.
Well, lately yesterday afternoon after work, and I went, and they, number one, I am 0.2 of a pound under 200 pounds. I was hoping for that. 199.8. That's my number for the day. 6 feet tall, 199.8. But
All right.
they did give me a little bit of concerning news. My blood pressure's a little high, they told me. So
Mm.
I'm thinking, well, what would make my blood pressure high? Things I talk about every single day here. But what the doctor said is for 2 weeks, I have to go today and buy a blood pressure thing. Apparently,
Oh.
there's something you could buy. I've never seen it before. It's not like the pump one, but it's actually something you just put around, and it's sort of automatic.
Okay.
So I'm going to head out later today after work and buy it. And for the next 2 weeks, kind of, because she said, well, basically, it's not that high. We also wanted to see, whether or not it's something that is consistent, or something that maybe we should get you on some medication for.
Well, with everything that's been happening in the news lately, I'd say it's fairly consistent.
And then as well, I had 3 vaccines. I took the latest COVID vaccine.
Oh.
I took a shingles vaccine. You have to, for shingles, once you get to my age, you have to have because the doctor says, you do not want to get shingles.
Mm.
It's not very good. So I got the first shingle shot. I have to go back in like 2 months and get the second one. And also got a pneumonia vaccine shot. And I had the option of taking a flu shot, but I did not, because we're actually at the end of the cycle. She said, well, basically, I've never taken a flu shot. She said, no, that's not good. You should, next fall, when we get to flu season, take the flu shot. I said, okay,
Yeah.
I will do that. But 3
Very
jabs,
safe.
3 jabs in a row. So both my arms are kind of a little bit sore today.
Mm.
And then they did a workup on my blood. And another jab. So I feel like a pincushion here this morning. But yeah.
Yeah, it's not fun to get those shots.
And also, doctor says it's time for the colonoscopy.
Oh, great. That's the last thing you want to hear from your doctor.
And I'm at that age. So I get done with my appointment. I go home. My phone rings. It's this other place that does this. Hey, we got the referral from your doctor. Can you set up the time here to have your first? Because basically you have to go in once as a sort of the get together,
Mm-hmm.
and then we'll set up the date to actually do it. And then they said, well, can you come in tomorrow? I said, well, we had a busy day today because I got a couple meetings coming up. We have the big high school sports show later.
Yeah.
So it's like, I really don't have time to do that. So I said, how about next Wednesday? And he said, okay. So we'll go in next Wednesday for the consult, and then set up a day to go in there. So I guess the point I'm trying to make here is not to share everything about my life with you, but I have not been great when it comes to taking care of my health when it comes to going to the doctor and having these checkups. And
Yeah.
I feel much better after doing this, getting up to speed on all these vaccines, getting my blood work done. They're going to take a look at it and let me know if there's anything that looks unusual, because you want to get caught early. And also even with the colonoscopy, because when she brought it up, she said, well, I have a couple of patients who are actually in their 40s. I'm obviously in my 50s. And she said, well, I've got a couple patients in their 40s who took the procedure, and they found some cancer, but they caught it early, because colon cancer does not come up. You don't have the symptoms until it's basically too late. In fact, one of the most famous people in Wisconsin history, Vince Lombardi, he did not want to have a colonoscopy. And so he ultimately got it, colon cancer, and ultimately then he got it too late and he died very quickly.
Yeah.
So I went
That's
through
a
that
shame.
yesterday, and ready to take a better look at my health and try to get that blood pressure down a little bit.
Sounds good.
Does it surprise you, Sean Wright, that my blood pressure is a little bit high? I went to the doctor yesterday and had a checkup and found my blood pressure. I keep tabs on so many different things. I'm not surprised I'm a little bit up.
Well, I mean, too many of our local high school teams
Exactly.
make long runs in the state tournaments this year. So,
And by the way, I got to ask you, how was Florida?
Florida was very nice.
How many games did you see?
Saw two. So
Who did you see?
saw the Twins and they played the Phillies, and then saw them play the Pirates as well.
Very good. So
yes.
fantastic. And by the way, I was reading a preseason story this week, and Vegas says the Cards 76.5 wins, over under.
Yeah.
Would you go over or under that?
I would go over, but but
not by much.
Not by much. Yeah.
Man, it's almost time, but we got to get you excited, though. I know it's a little hard because you Cardinal fans are used to winning so much.
I can tell. I don't even have a fantasy baseball team drafted yet. That tells you how, usually if I know, there's still time. But,
all right. But yeah, absolutely. Hey, we're going to come back in 2 minutes, talk about, I don't know if it's more important stuff, but big stuff at the Grand Theater, because it's always busy, with Sean Wright, Executive Director of the Grand and the PAF. The time is 9:18. Chad Holmes Show, 98.9 WXCO.
Will you ever come again? Sweet skin, soft and white. Waves of circles within the night. Dance inside the dream of circle.
And welcome back, Chad Holmes Show, 98.9 WXCO, online at WXCO.FM, mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO, and on the Civic Media app. You can also catch us on YouTube.com, go to the 98.9 WXCO channel on YouTube and be able to join us there as well. We are joined by Grand Theater and Wausau Performing Arts Foundation Executive Director Sean Wright. And we were talking actually in the last hour that, it's almost the end of March. I mean, it feels like you just started a season and we're getting, for schools, it's almost like, we're getting to the end of the year. It just goes so fast these days.
It absolutely does. I mean,
especially for you, because you keep on having so many shows.
Yeah, we keep on,
no deep breaths.
No deep breaths at all. And that's kind of, this is the time of year you see, a lot of the big markets announcing their seasons, and so that means the trickle down effect happens, and we get to confirm some of our shows and lead up to our announce in June. So between now and June 1, it feels like we'll just be a dead sprint. But yes, to your point, we also still have a bunch of shows.
Yes, you do.
And we're adding shows before that time and during that time and everything else. And so it is. This is the time of year in our industry. I would say there's never a slow time, but this definitely is the time where you're kind of going, okay, there are no slow days for the next couple of months.
I don't know whether you want to even mention it, but it's always interesting because you get thrown curveballs once in a while. You had a show that was coming up here this week, and now you've rescheduled it for 2026.
Yes,
and it scared me when I saw that number, 2026.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
what happened there?
That was a situation where the band had a change in their touring schedules, and they were willing to keep the date, but the promoter working with them was like, hey, let's just kick it into 26 and find a date that they don't feel stressed, he doesn't feel stressed, that they're stressed, and sometimes that's just kind of the reality of,
and also I imagine, again, we talk about this all the time, so much of your job is developing the relationships.
It is.
And sometimes you have to if you're able to work with somebody, it may be causing some some beads of sweat
absolutely
right now, but at the same time, in the long run, it still makes Wausau, the Grand Theater, yourself and your crew, somebody that people want to work with.
It does. I mean, and it's just kind of the reality of, of our business. It's relationships. I mean, I just this week, my staff would tell you I've been on a little bit of a heater because I, had a show that I was fairly certain that it wasn't confirmed, but it was as close as it could be to actually having the email saying it's confirmed. And then I, got a phone call saying, we need to look at this completely all over again. And your initial reaction is like, you've got to be kidding me. No. But then you realize it's an agent who we work with on a lot of things, and he's just doing his job and we're just doing our job. So it's like, you take the deep breath and you go,
no venting here.
Like, let's figure it out and work from there. And that's just kind of the booking business, especially in the thing you have to remember in booking is agents aren't, and management, they aren't the artists, and artists a lot of times will say, I want to go out and work. That's I've had a agent friend who talked about a client that she had, and she said that it drove her crazy because he primarily at this point in his career was a performing arts center artist. And she would say, if you want a full schedule, you need to accept these gigs months in advance, because performing arts centers book out seasons, they book out in advance. I don't want to commit to anything out that far in advance. Said, so then it would get to like July, August, after all these PACs have announced their season, and this artist would call her and scream at her and say, why am I not working this fall? Why am I not working this winter? I want to work. I told you I want to work. Just like, I presented you with 20 offers 2 months ago, and you said no to all of them. And so that's the thing you always have to remember is that the agents get to deal. They get to deal with the talent.
Yeah,
sometimes it's okay.
Talent.
It's okay that we're in the middle.
Let's talk about what's coming up. I know on Friday you got a big event. The Red Hot Chili Pipers.
The Pipers. Yeah, it's such a fun show.
I know.
Those guys. Just the idea of, hey, we're going to do a bagpipe rock show is pretty amazing. And they're a Wisconsin favorite. Play Irish Fest just about every year down in Milwaukee, Summerfest up in Minocqua, and so yeah, this will be their this is at least their third or fourth time at the Grand, and people just really like them because it is a unique evening. Let's just say.
Any tickets available?
Yeah, we've still got some tickets left, but going to be a really nice house, and so we're looking forward to that one a lot.
What else is coming up in the near future?
Yeah, in the near future, a couple of really fun shows coming up a week from Saturday. Classic Albums Live is back, and that's just one of my favorite things each year, because the thing I love about those guys is that they are, they're not putting on costumes, they're not doing anything. They're just there to play the record start to finish the way that they're not going to, in between songs say, and then on the guitar, because that didn't happen on the album. And so this time they're bringing one of my favorite albums, U2's The Joshua Tree. And so really just a fun show, amazing musicians. They'll play The Joshua Tree start to finish. They will take a break, and then they'll come back and play a second set of U2 greatest hits, not on The Joshua Tree.
Well, there's plenty of those.
There's plenty of those.
As well.
Plenty of those.
And that's a week from Saturday.
That's a week from Saturday.
What else is happening?
Yeah, and then as we get into that second full week in April, a couple of things I want to people about. April 8th, really, really cool band, Bermuda Search Party. I mean, I just love the name. The only group I've seen in a while that is 4 people and combined to play about 8 instruments. They've got horn players. At one point I saw them last summer, and a guy's playing a horn with one hand and playing the keys with his other hand. And they are got 2 10x10s left. Our 10x10 on the 11th with Jenna Marie, local artist, is sold out. But Bermuda Search Party, we still have a few tickets left. It is actually the day that they're releasing their brand new album. So it'll be a fun time to get to see it. And we'll be announcing the 25-26 10x10 series. So it's your first chance to find out what emerging artists, fun artists. Literally, we have artists for 25-26. We have artists from I'm trying to go through a list here, from the Chicagoland area, from New York, second artist down from the Chicagoland area, one from the Carolinas, and one from Iceland.
Very good.
Yes.
25-26.
I'm very glad that the artist from Iceland goes by her initials professionally, because if I had to pronounce her name, it would just be like, and welcome to our Icelandic friend.
Grand Theater, ER.
.org.
Hey, Sean, always good to see you.
Yeah.
Catch you in a couple weeks.
Sounds good.
So true. I'm looking for a long
On Wednesday from 6 till 8 p.m., it's the final episode of the season of the Big High School Sports Show, presented by K5 Construction on 98.9 WXCO, online at WXCO.FM, mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO, and on the Civic Media app. Jeff Gress and myself will wrap up the winter sports season plus special guests. At 6:25 p.m., we'll be joined by Wausau East High School boys basketball coach Dan Garrett after the Lumberjacks made it to the state tournament last weekend. And then at 7:06, it's our student athlete guest from Wausau West High School, first team all-state hockey performer Cooper DePoint. The completion of another season of the Big High School Sports Show. Wednesday from 6 till 8 p.m. on 98.9 WXCO. Online at WXCO.FM. Mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO and on the Civic Media app.
Life is so strange when you don't know how can you tell where you're going to. You can't be sure of any situation. Something could change, and then you won't know. Where do we go from here? It seems so near, just as far beyond as I can see. I still don't know what this all means to me. I have nowhere to go.
Chat Home Show, 98.9 WXCO. Online at WXCO.FM. Mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO. And on the Civic Media app. Time is 9:36, 29 degrees here in downtown Wausau. The sun is shining. And again, hopefully your day is off to a good start. Heard just a moment ago, tonight is our final Big High School Sports Show presented by K5 Construction of the season. We've been going since mid-August. We always go through the fall high school sports season and then through the winter high school sports season. And with the WIAA boys basketball tournament wrapping up last week, we come back and put it all together in our final show of the season. Jeff Gress and myself will talk about what we saw at state last week in boys hoops. We will talk about the trip to state for the Wausau East Lumberjacks with their head coach, Dan Garrett. He'll be with us at 6:25 this evening. Then at 7:06, our student athlete guest, our final student athlete guest for the season, Cooper DePoint. He is an all-state hockey player at Wausau West. Also had a good fall. He was honorable mention all-conference for the Wausau West football team. So Cooper DePoint at 7:06. And then after that, we will be talking to the head hockey coach of Wausau West, kind of put together what we saw this year on the ice with BJ Brandt at approximately 7:30. So that's all coming up. Big High School Sports Show presented by K5 Construction tonight from 6 till 8 p.m. right here on 98.9 WXCO. Online at WXCO.FM. Mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO and on the Civic Media app. Also, I forgot to mention so far today, make sure you tune in all day long. Our Break into Spring Text to Win statewide contest with Civic Media and 98.9 WXCO going on this week and next week. You have a chance to tune in with Pat Kreitlow at 7 o'clock, with Jane Matinaire and Greg Bach at 11 a.m., with Todd Alba at 1 p.m., and with Dom Salvia at 4 p.m. At the start of the hour, our host will give you a keyword. And then what you have to do is open up the Civic Media app, come to the 98.9 WXCO page on the app, and all you have to do is hit text and then put in the word, the keyword, whatever it may be. In fact, in the first time that we played today, in the 7 o'clock hour with Pat Kreitlow, the keyword was bass. Not bass as in a bass guitar, but bass as in baseball.
Baseball.
And basically you had to, no pun intended, until the end of the hour to get it in. So if you did not get it in by 8 o'clock, then that word does not work and that will not be used again. But basically get the full hour. So at 11 o'clock. Make sure you tune in at the top of the show with Jane and Greg. Get that keyword and then text it through the Civic Media app, and you'll be part of a drawing for an hourly prize. Hourly prizes include a Chula Vista getaway, Milwaukee Brewers Club level tickets, or $100 cash. Plus, every entry also puts you into our grand prize drawing of a brand new queen size mattress set. I should say a brand new queen size mattress set from Merlot Mattress. So lots of chances to win. Tune in 4 times a day, Monday through Friday, this week and next week, for the Break into Spring Text to Win statewide contest. I found another option for you when it comes to the number for the day quiz.
Okay.
So we have one that involves smoking.
Yeah, a cigarette smoking.
Cigarette smoking. And then we have one as well that involves women's weddings. So weddings that specifically involve women. In terms
I think I want to do a woman wedding.
All right.
I want to try that.
So that will be our number for the day quiz coming up in just a little bit. So see if we can get you on the winning track. And this is, I think, an interesting one. I'm not going to give you anything more at this point, but
it's always nice when the number's interesting.
Exactly. So we'll do that coming up at the end of the hour. You know, something that always annoys me and probably lifts my blood pressure to a little bit higher than it should be.
Political ads playing back to back to back for the last couple of weeks.
That is one. That is one, but also hypocrisy. I've said this before, haven't I? Hypocrisy.
Yeah.
And I know
when
you don't like
people
hypocrisy.
say that they're against something, and then the next day they're doing that exact same thing.
But about 9 years ago, during the election of 2016, there was a lot made about Hillary Clinton and using a private email server.
Yeah.
There was never anything that was brought up that said that she had sent anything that was classified. Never anything that came out that said she had done anything against the law.
Nope.
But over and over and over again, it was brought up by Trump, by Republicans, and by the media. This morning, more information has come out involving what happened with this complete breach of protocol when it came to war plans being sent out to a media person who accidentally ended up on this signal. It's called a signal chat. And it's really not something that is legal for top secret information in the United States government.
Okay.
But apparently the idea of using Signal within the Defense Department and the Trump administration was not a one-off here. This was not a mistake that occurred where some classified information got into the hands of a media person who was accidentally invited to the chat. Because, you know, these chats, you invite a lot of people and they get part of the chat.
Yeah.
Well, according to some reporting this morning, that it was not a one-off, that the National Security Advisor, Michael Waltz, the Defense Secretary, Pete Hegseth, and others, that they basically have been using Signal to evade statutory record retention requirements.
Oh.
So basically what they're doing is they're hiding information that should be open to the public, open to the Congress, and should be always kept by the government for open records requests. But basically, the National Security Advisor, the Defense Department, and others have been breaking the rules again. And the thing about it is it just makes me go back to headlines in the New York Times and the Washington Post back in the fall of 2016. I saw a picture of a front page of the Times on a social media post recently. And there were 7 different stories on the front page just on the email server, which was a big nothing. And now you have, again, those Republicans who just screamed at the top of their lungs day after day after day about the email server, the email server. And here in this brand new administration, we're just 2 months and 6 days into it. It's hard to believe. It feels a lot longer.
It does.
We're 2 months and 6 days. But again, it's a hypocrisy. And
Just a big mess.
and if it comes to myself as well, I try not to be hypocritical with what I say. I'm not going to try to say something that was done in the Biden administration was good, and then if they did the same thing, which I haven't really seen at this point in the Trump administration, to say it would be bad. That would be hypocritical.
Yeah.
But at the very least, we should be consistent in what we say and what we do. But unfortunately, over and over and over again, we see situations like this. They're not doing the right thing.
No, they're not.
Right. And don't you agree that
They're not even attempting to apologize for any of this.
and that's one aspect, again, that whether it's in the local realm, when it came to the Dropbox controversy, and whether it's here. And they keep doubling down and they keep lying about it. The press secretary keeps lying about it. Can't we get back to a situation in our government where we can at least try to tell the truth a little bit and try to be consistent in what we try to accomplish? Because right now, it feels as though the Trump administration will double down over and over and over again on any mistakes they make and just lie about it.
Yeah.
And it takes away the foundations of our democracy. And when I saw this story this morning, it's like, again, the hypocrisy knows no bounds when it comes to what is going on with this current administration.
I think the thing about Hillary Clinton's.
The phone is ringing.
I'll answer that.
Okay, I will continue, and we will let Ian make his point as well when it came to the idea of what is going on here. But again, I mean, they're going to have disagreements on policy, and we're going to have disagreements in different areas. But if we don't have the baseline of a lack of truth telling, or I should say a lack of lying by both sides, all of a sudden, I just get so frustrated when I see, again, the press secretary and Pete Hegseth as well, just basically lying about what happened. They keep on lying. Like, if you lie enough, then people are going to forget about it. What do we got, Ian?
We have our friend Cornell who wants to talk about his support of Susan Crawford for the Supreme Court.
Okay.
Go ahead,
Cornell, we got 2.5 minutes before the break.
Oh, boy. Okay. I got so much to talk about. They just stated here, I'm looking, Atlanta is going to release the entire signal chat of Hegseth. So if you want to read that. But I want to get out the vote. I've been calling. People should get on their phones and call and knock on some doors. And I've been calling, and I feel that Judge Crawford would be the best. From the information I received, this Republican budget, they're cutting Medicaid, they're cutting farmers to grow food for the cafeteria. They're giving $1 trillion tax break to the billionaires. And I'm quite upset with Trump pardoning those 1,600.
Hey, Cornell, I saw a story this morning concerning the January 6th criminals, and I think you'll be interested in this. Today, Donald Trump has actually floated that he thinks these folks are heroes and they deserve money for being arrested, that they were treated unfairly, and that we should be giving them some money. Unbelievable.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, they're in, Trump's endorsing Schimmel, and he's a criminal. He's supporting Putin, a communist Putin, and they're dancing in the street in Moscow what Trump is doing.
Yep.
We have to send a message. I hope people get out there and, you got to vote. You got to knock on doors. I've been calling. I'm calling every night. I'm on the phone calling people to get out to vote.
Real quick, Cornell, we have 30 seconds. What are you hearing from the voters? Are they engaged in this?
Well, really, some of them don't even know there's a vote going on. I get some people say I voted already for them. Some people, I'm confused. You're getting bombarded with all this stuff. But generally, I get tapes. And I record on the tape, and I give them what I said to you. And some say, yeah, I got your back. I voted for Crawford.
Hey, Cornell, we got a hard break right here, but call back tomorrow and we can talk some more.
Yeah, okay. There's a lot of stuff on these cases. Okay, thanks, Chad. Okay.
You bet. We have a hard break, so we're in the commercial right now.
Check your blood pressure.
I know.
Thank you for calling,
I
Cornell.
got the same thing.
I tell you, it's a lot of stress these days.
Well, we got to take care of yourself. We don't. We got to keep you going. Thanks. Okay.
Yeah, but give us a ring tomorrow. That'd be great.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff to talk about with this. Okay. Thanks a lot, Chad. For
You bet. Have a good day.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. It is Wednesday, March the 26th of 2025. Day number 85 of this year. There are 280 days remaining in this year. And a number of famous events have occurred on this date in history. In 1982, a groundbreaking ceremony for the Vietnam Veterans Memorial was held in Washington, D.C. On this date in 1997, in San Diego, 39 Heaven's Gate cultists committed mass suicide at their compound. On this date in 1999, the Melissa worm infected Microsoft word processing and email systems around the world. On this date in the year 2000, Vladimir Putin was elected president of Russia. On this date in 2012, Canadian filmmaker James Cameron became the first person to visit Challenger Deep, the deepest point on Earth in over 50 years. And on this date in 2020, American cases of COVID-19 exceeded all other countries on this date, with 81,578 cases and 1,180 deaths. Some famous people are celebrating their birthdays today. Speaker Emeritus, former Speaker of the House, current Representative Nancy Pelosi, 85 years old today. Diana Ross, music superstar, 81 years old today. Steven Tyler, lead vocalist of Aerosmith, 77 years old today. Singer-actor Vicki Lawrence from Mama's Family and the Carol Burnett Show, 76 years old today. Comedian and actor Martin Short, Only Murders in the Building, of course, his latest hit, but a man that's done so much over the years.
Oh, yes.
75 years old. And he's still so sharp and still funny as ever, right?
Absolutely.
You saw him last year, didn't you?
Oh, my gosh. He was so hilarious.
Actor Jennifer Grey, one of the stars of Dirty Dancing, is 65. Actor Leslie Mann from Knocked Up, This Is 40, and The Bubble is 53. T.R. Knight of Grey's Anatomy is 52. And actor Keira Knightley from Pirates of the Caribbean films and other movies as well. Bend It Like Beckham. I remember that was like one of her first movies. Keira Knightley, 40 years old today. And if you out there celebrating your birthday, happy birthday to you from all of us at 98.9 WXCO.
Happy birthday.
Some special events being acknowledged today. It is Legal Assistance Day. It is Nougat Day. You know, nougat from candy. It is.
There's quite a few of them that have nougat in them.
Yep. It is Spinach Day.
Not a fan of spinach.
Well, Popeye is.
I know that Popeye likes spinach.
It is Solitude Day. And this one is interesting. Make up your own holiday day.
I think people that do that every day.
They
They add to
do.
the calendar every year.
You are exactly right. So those are the special events being acknowledged here today.
Nice.
Time now for our number for the day quiz.
Yeah, I got to focus here.
And again, it is women and weddings, our topic.
Women and weddings.
All right. Our number for the day is: how many women each year in the United States cancel their own wedding?
Okay.
So you have a wedding, that you're engaged, you have a
Mhm.
wedding date, but we hear often that they decide, well, we're going to break up or we're not going to get married anyways.
Yeah, that's too bad.
So each year, how many women in the United States cancel their own wedding?
Okay.
All right. Is the correct answer 25,000 women? Is the correct answer 75,000 women?
Ooh,
Is the correct answer 125,000 women?
That's quite a jump.
25, 75, 125,000.
The number of women every year in the U.S. who cancel their weddings. Okay, 25,000, 75,000, or 125,000. Ooh, these are big numbers.
Those are big numbers.
Okay.
Well, think through it. Does one seem right? Does one seem like it's too little or too much or right? You know, it's
okay.
what do you think? You know, that's how many in a year? I mean, that's only 1 year. That's not like over a decade, just 1
Yeah.
year.
Okay, I'm gonna say, I'll go with my gut here. I'm gonna say 75,000. I'm gonna go with B as my final answer today. I'm gonna say 75,000. Lock it in. That's what I'm saying.
Each year in the United States, about 25,000 women cancel their own wedding.
Smallest number.
I thought maybe giving you those big numbers, you'd figure it out that those are just too big.
Yeah. That's what I thought about yesterday's.
I know.
number two.
So, all right.
I gotta
0 for
really
3.
focus next 2 days.
Oh, man. But you always come through under pressure. You find a
It's
way.
weird, but the pressure actually does
It
help for
clears
some
your
strange
mind in
reason.
some way, right?
Yeah, I guess it does, but hopefully I can, at
Your-
least secure a passing week and not a failing week. My
Your back
goodness.
is against the wall.
Absolutely.
So we're going to see if you can come back tomorrow. So, yep. Come on, folks. See if Ian can get back on the winning track tomorrow.
That's right.
Tomorrow we'll be joined as well by Pat Kreitlow. He'll join us at the top of the show. Stick around as well later tonight, 6 to 8 p.m. Big high school sports show. Jeff Gress and myself will be talking high school sports for the final time this spring sports season.
Yeah.
Dan Garrett, the Wausau East boys basketball coach at 6:25. Cooper DePoit, the Wausau West junior hockey and football standout at 7:06. And BJ Brandt, Wausau West hockey coach at 7:30. Ian, have a good rest of your sunny Wednesday.
You too, Chad. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Have a great day.
And we will be back tomorrow and back tonight with the Big High School Sports Show. Stick around. Coming up next, Matt and Air on Air here on 98.9 WXCO.
Show you some of the